If you're watching this video, chances are you feel stuck. You've consumed countless hours of self-improvement content, bought the courses, read the books, maybe even taken notes. But here's the brutal truth. Your life hasn't fundamentally changed. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why that's happening and what you can do to break free from this cycle forever. I spent years devouring every piece of self-help material I could find. My bookshelf was packed, my highlights were extensive, my motivation was sky high. Yet somehow, I remained exactly where I started. Sound familiar? The problem isn't the information, it's how we approach it. Think about climbing a mountain for a moment. Most people obsess over finding the perfect path to the summit. They analyze every route, compare difficulty levels, and debate which approach is optimal. But here's what I've learned. There are usually multiple viable paths up any mountain. The tragedy isn't choosing the wrong path, it's constantly jumping between paths. Picture this. One route might be steeper, but more direct. Another might have gentle slopes, but take twice as long. A third might look easy from the bottom, but hide treacherous terrain ahead. The truth is, you won't know the real challenges of any path until you commit to walking it. And I'm going to reveal the exact framework that helped me finally break through and build my first consistent 5-figure monthly business in just a moment. But first, we need to understand why most people sabotage themselves before they even begin. Here's the game changer. You need perfect conviction about your plan more than you need a perfect plan. Your strategy is simply how you prioritize resources to reach your destination. But your ability to execute that strategy, to walk the path without constantly second-guessing yourself, that's what determines your success. Most people already know what to do. If I told you to get in shape, you'd instinctively know to stop eating junk food and start moving more. Want to build muscle? Lift weights? Want to get stronger? Progressively increase the load? These aren't revolutionary insights, yet people don't do them. Why? Because they're waiting for the perfect plan instead of executing the obvious one. I call this the fallacy of the perfect pick. We procrastinate on taking action because we're convinced there's a better strategy just around the corner. But perfection is the enemy of progress. Let me share a painful personal example from just 2 years ago. I was juggling way too many projects at once. I had a drop shipping store, a YouTube channel I was trying to grow, a freelance social media management gig, an affiliate marketing website, and I was even attempting to flip products on Facebook Marketplace. On paper, I looked like a hustler. In reality, I was completely overwhelmed. I was making some money from each venture, nothing crazy, maybe a few hundred here and there, but because I was spread so thin, I couldn't focus deeply enough on any single one to actually scale it properly. I was treading water in 5 different pools instead of swimming to shore in one. The irony? If someone had asked me what the problem was, I would have said I needed better strategies. I thought I needed to find the next trending product, the viral content formula, or the perfect marketing funnel. But the real issue was execution. I wasn't sticking with anything long enough to master it. I'm curious, have you ever found yourself in a similar situation where you were juggling too many projects or constantly switching strategies? What was your experience like, and what helped you break out of that pattern? I'd love to hear your story. Here's a truth that will change your perspective. You can beat most people at anything if you just stick with it for 1 year. If you're willing to be terrible at something, for 100 consecutive days, you'll surpass most of your competition. The bar for excellence has never been lower. Why? Because most people quit at the first sign of real difficulty. They've never experienced genuine struggle. So when they hit an obstacle, they interpret it as a sign to change course rather than push through. And I'm about to share the 3-pillar system that separates successful executors from eternal strugglers. But before that, you need to understand why the hardest part isn't what you think it is. My friend, the most challenging part of any journey isn't the work itself. It's navigating the unknown. When you reach level 4 of your metaphorical video game and encounter a boss you've never faced before, that's where most people reset to level 1 with a different character. But here's the secret: the confusion, the uncertainty, the feeling of being lost. That's not a bug in the system, it's a feature. That discomfort is your brain adapting, growing, creating new neural pathways. The people who push through this phase while others retreat are the ones who ultimately succeed. Most strategies do work. Business isn't about finding one secret formula. There are multiple ways to win. But if your execution is weak, it's like trying to cut with a dull knife. You'll never get the results you want, regardless of which technique you use. When I analyzed why some people execute flawlessly while others struggle, I identified 3 critical elements: culture, talent, and training. Let me break each one down. Pillar 1, culture, the rules of your game. Culture isn't just a buzzword, it's the rules of reinforcement in your environment. It's what gets rewarded and what gets punished. In society, we learn to hold doors for others because it's rewarded with appreciation. We avoid cutting people off in traffic because it's punished with honesty and frustration. Your personal or business culture operates the same way. If you don't reward the behaviors you want to see more of, people learn those behaviors don't matter. If you tolerate behaviors you don't want, like showing up late or delivering mediocre work, you're teaching everyone that those standards are acceptable. The way you reinforce culture comes down to 2 things: who you allow in your circle and what behaviors you address versus ignore. Every time you let something slide that bothers you, you're setting a new standard. I use a simple framework called start, stop, keep. What do I want you to start doing that you're not doing? What do I want you to stop doing that you are doing? What should you keep doing that I want to reinforce? This clarity eliminates confusion and accelerates improvement. Pillar 2, talent, investing in game changers. Most people don't set a high enough bar for who should be in their life or business. This was my mistake for years, and the moment I raised my standards for people, everything changed. Here's a practical insight I learned the hard way. The difference between working with someone who's just okay at their job and someone who's genuinely good might cost you a bit more upfront, but the results are exponentially better. When I finally started being pickier about who I collaborated with, whether it was freelancers, business partners, or even just the people I took advice from, everything started clicking. When I'm evaluating people now, I ask about their side projects and what they do for fun. If someone wants to help me with content creation, I want to know if they spend their free time making TikToks or watching YouTube tutorials about editing. If they're into e-commerce, do they browse Shopify blogs and test different marketing strategies in their spare time? The question I love asking is, what are you obsessed with? If their obsession doesn't align with what I need them to do, they'll always be mentally somewhere else. But if their passion matches their role, they'll see feedback as a gift, not criticism. Pillar 3, training, turning potential into performance. Even with great culture and talented people, you need systems to bridge the gap between potential and actual performance. The higher up someone is in an organization, the more you hire for proven results. The lower their position, the more you hire for potential and work ethic. I'll take someone who's generally intelligent and hardworking over someone with more experience, but less drive, every time. Smart people catch up to and surpass less intelligent people quickly when they're motivated. But here's where most learning fails. It's too vague. I once joined a mastermind group where we spent hours talking about mindset and consistency. Everyone nodded along, felt motivated, and then nothing changed. When I finally asked what consistency actually looked like day to day, we realized it meant things like posting content every single day at the same time, checking analytics weekly and adjusting based on what we learned, reaching out to 5 potential customers every morning, and tracking our progress with actual numbers instead of just feeling like we were doing well. Once I translated these big concepts into specific daily actions, my results improved dramatically. Instead of trying to be more consistent, I had a checklist of exactly what consistency meant. Success isn't about being smarter or luckier than everyone else. It's about being willing to endure pain and uncertainty longer than your competition. While others are switching paths every time they hit an obstacle, you're developing the skills and resilience to break through. The next time you feel tempted to abandon your current strategy, ask yourself, is this a strategy problem or an execution problem? 9 times out of 10, it's execution. Instead of looking for a new path, focus on sharpening your knife. Remember, you can beat 99% of people without any special advantages, just by being willing to stick with something long enough to make all the necessary mistakes and learn from them. My friend, if you found this video helpful, this next video right here will take you even further. Your choice, your life. Start now.